Chosen one. Listen carefully. This is not a coincidence. Heaven itself has spoken your name. The moment you entered this world, both light and darkness took notice. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. There is a divine mark upon your life, and every realm seen and unseen knows it. Right now, as these words reach you, something within you begins to stir. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet vibration in your spirit that whispers, "This message is for me." Heaven pauses for moments like this. It's not chance, it's divine timing. Because the one who called you by name has decided that it's time to awaken what's been sleeping inside of you. You've been walking through what looked like ordinary days, but the heavens have been in council over your destiny. Angels have whispered your name with reverence. The enemy has spoken it with frustration. Wondering, how are they still standing? You, the chosen one, have been marked for a purpose that shakes both heaven and hell. Think of Eliah, a young man whose story mirrors your own. He lived quietly, unnoticed by many, serving faithfully while dreams burned quietly within him. Night after night he prayed, asking why his life felt paused while others seemed to run ahead. What he didn't know was that heaven had hidden him for preparation. While he thought he was forgotten, God was sharpening him in secret. And when the moment came, everything shifted at once. The silence broke. The wind changed. And his name was spoken aloud in places he never imagined. You are in that same divine turning point. The valley you've been walking through was never your final destination. It was your training ground. The rejection was not proof of your failure. It was proof of your calling. When heaven speaks your name, even storms must listen. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. That verse is not distant poetry, it's your personal history. You have walked through valleys that almost swallowed you whole. You have faced nights where silence screamed louder than words. Yet here you are, still standing, not by luck, but by grace. Picture this moment, heaven's courtroom, vast and radiant, filled with angelic witnesses. Your name is spoken from the throne, not as a question, but as a decree. The record of your endurance rises like incense before the judge of all creation. The accusations against you crumble under the weight of mercy. You are not a mistake. You are evidence that divine favor still exists. You may ask, why me? Why all this pressure? Because chosen ones are not built in comfort. They are refined in fire. The mountain you're climbing is not punishment. It's promotion in disguise. God allows friction where He intends fire. The heavens are watching your response. Every time you choose faith over fear, you shift something in the unseen. Every time you forgive instead of retaliate, light expands. Every time you speak life where others sow doubt, heaven applauds. Can you sense it now? The atmosphere around you is shifting. The same spirit that hovered over the chaos of creation now hovers over your situation, ready to bring order, clarity, and renewal. Do not ignore the signs, the dream that felt too real to dismiss, the conversation that confirmed what you prayed about, the quiet peace that visits when you should be afraid. These are not coincidences, they are proof that your name is echoing through eternity. So rise. Straighten your shoulders. Breathe again. You are stepping into the moment that your struggle prepared you for. Heaven is not debating your worth. It has already declared it. If this word resonates in your spirit, take a moment, pause and reflect. Then act. Like, share, and subscribe, so this message reaches another soul who needs to remember they are chosen too. And if you sense heaven confirming this message deep within, comment the number 777 below. You are not here by mistake. Everything that tried to bury you has become the soil where your purpose now blooms. The heavens have not forgotten your name. They are preparing to announce it louder than ever before. Stand firm. Chosen one. What's ahead will confirm every silent promise. Your waiting was not wasted. It was warfare in disguise, shaping your spirit for the crown that now approaches. The time you feared was ending is actually the beginning. Every buried seed is breaking open now. What once looked like loss was heaven planting you deeper for greater bloom. The whisper has already begun, somewhere beyond what your eyes can see. Your name moves across the unseen realm like a melody that cannot be silenced. Angels speak it in reverence. The enemy hisses it in envy. Heaven and hell are not arguing over your existence. They are reacting to your significance. You have become the topic of the unseen world. The spiritual realm is not quiet. It is alive with sound songs of intercession, cries of resistance, shouts of warfare. In that holy noise, your name carries weight. It is not just letters strung together. It is a declaration, a calling. Your presence on this earth disturbs what is unholy, because you remind darkness of everything it has lost. You might not feel important. You may look around and see ordinary days, routine responsibilities, and quiet battles no one applauds. Yet in heaven's language, your endurance is thunder. Every time you choose light, every time you forgive, every time you rise after falling, you send ripples through the unseen. Imagine the spiritual world like a vast ocean. Each act of faith you make is a wave that reaches distant shores. You do not always see its reach, but heaven does. Even silence has sound there. Every prayer, whispered in the dark, echoes like a drumbeat through eternity. There was once a woman named Mara, another chosen one. Her life was filled with disappointments that stacked like stones on her heart. She felt unseen by people and unheard by God. Yet one night, in prayer, she felt a whisper in her spirit say, "You have not been forgotten. Your name is being spoken even now." In that moment, peace settled over her like dawn over water. The next morning, a door opened that had been closed for years. It wasn't luck. It was divine timing, responding to her faith. That's how heaven moves. It speaks first, then shifts the earth. What you are feeling right now may be the echo of what heaven already decided about you. The whisper is the signal before the manifestation. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Those steps are being guided even now. You may think you're wandering, but in truth, you're being positioned. Every delay has been a rerouting toward destiny. Every detour has hidden protection in it. Heaven never wastes a step. Even confusion becomes a compass in the hands of God. The realms of light and darkness understand something many humans forget. Whoever controls the whisper controls the direction. That's why the enemy tries to fill your mind with noise to drown out the still, small voice that leads you. But the Spirit speaks in quiet strength, reminding you of who you are when the world forgets. Picture this, the night sky heavy with stars. Yet one burns brighter than the rest. That single light becomes a guide for travelers. You are that light in someone's night. Heaven has assigned your presence to guide others toward hope. You may never see all the lives you influence, but eternity keeps record of every spark you ignite. The whisper of your name is not flattery, it's strategy. Heaven speaks it to release angels. The enemy repeats it to devise distractions. Every voice that speaks of you is responding to divine movement. That is why your discernment matters more now than ever. Sometimes, God hides you in plain sight, not because He's forgotten you, but because He's protecting what carries weight. Diamonds are not displayed before they are cut. Arrows are pulled back before they are released. The silence you feel is not absence, it's alignment. You may recall seasons when you were overlooked while others were celebrated. Heaven saw those moments and recorded them in ink that does not fade. When the whisper of your name reaches fullness, you will see why every hidden chapter was necessary. This is the sacred paradox of the chosen. You are known most deeply in the places where you feel unseen. The unseen world recognizes your authority even when people don't. Your tears are not wasted. They are ink for heaven's declarations. Lift your eyes for a moment. Notice how every battle, every heartbreak, every quiet victory has built something within you that cannot be shaken. That inner strength is the evidence that the whisper has already been spoken. You are not waiting for heaven's attention. You are living inside its conversation. And when the time comes, that whisper will become a shout. What was spoken in secret will be seen in public. The same voice that called you in the quiet will confirm you before many. Until then, walk with peace. The heavens are not silent about you. The whisper continues even now, and all creation leans in to listen. There are battles happening right now that your eyes cannot see. The air around you carries tension, not born of fear, but of purpose. Every choice, every word, every prayer you whisper in exhaustion becomes a spark in the unseen war. Heaven moves when you move. Darkness reacts when you rise. You may think the struggle is personal, but it's not. It's positional. The moment you began walking toward your destiny, something shifted in the spirit. Old patterns broke. Hidden forces stirred. You became a signal, a light that could not be ignored. And whenever a light shines, darkness takes notice. The war around you is not chaos, it's confirmation. You are standing on the kind of territory that hell never gives up easily. That's why you feel pressure. It's the proof that you are standing where victory already belongs to you. Remember this. Not every storm is sent to sink you. Some are sent to reveal that you can walk on water. The waves you see are not punishment. They are your training ground for power. There was once a man named Aran, a quiet soul who worked night shifts, caring for others while carrying his own silent pain. Every night, he felt the invisible weight pressing against him, strange dreams, heavy air, endless fatigue. He thought it was just life. But one evening, something within him said, "Stand and pray." He obeyed, and as he prayed, tears rolled down his face, not weakness, but warfare. Peace entered the room. The heaviness broke. Heaven had fought for him while he surrendered. That is how heaven fights, through obedience, through faith, through surrender. When you bow in prayer, heaven stands in battle. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Now, you are not fighting people, you are confronting patterns. Every lie that told you you're not enough is a weapon of darkness trying to steal your confidence. But the moment you recognize it, you disarm it. You are learning to fight with peace, to conquer through stillness. Imagine a candle in a storm. Every gust tries to extinguish it, yet it keeps burning because its flame is alive, not mechanical. You are that candle. Your persistence terrifies darkness. The enemy doesn't fear your success, he fears your endurance. Because endurance proves that heaven lives inside you. This is why your warfare feels personal. It's because your light is personal. Hell doesn't waste energy on the ordinary. You are a threat because you're awakening. Every prayer you release carries weight. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, heaven moves closer. Every act of love is a sword cutting through confusion. You fight best not with anger, but with grace. Let this truth settle deep. You are not the hunted, you are the headline. The enemy fights you because he cannot erase you. The battle is evidence that your influence in the unseen is growing. So when the pressure builds again, when your heart feels heavy and the night feels long, remember, this is not where you lose. This is where you learn who you truly are. Lift your eyes. Heaven's army stands behind you. If these words speak to your current season, take one act of declaration right now. Type the words, "Heaven wins." Do it as a prophetic action, not as routine. Let it be a mark of faith, small on the screen, but loud in the spirit. When you write it, you align with what heaven has already decreed, that the fight over your life ends in victory. Because no matter how fierce the storm, light always finds a way to burn through the clouds. And you, chosen one, were born to be that light, steady, radiant, untouchable. You were never meant to blend in with shadows. You were designed to confront them. Every time you stand your ground, heaven records it as a victory already won. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are sacred inscriptions of survival. Each mark tells the story of a warrior who refused to bow when fear demanded surrender. Even when silence surrounds you, heaven is not quiet. Angels still march. Prayers still rise. And your name still echoes through eternity as a reminder of God's enduring promise. Hold fast. The battle you feel is not ending in loss, it's ending in revelation. You're about to see why every fight had to happen exactly this way. There is something different about you, something heaven placed within long before the world tried to define you. It's not talent, not charm, not luck. It's the mark, the invisible imprint of divine ownership that sets you apart from everything common, the mark that says, "This one belongs to me." This mark doesn't glow on the skin or flash in the light. It's deeper than that. It sits in the soul, in the quiet, knowing that no matter what happens, you cannot blend in. You were never meant to. That mark identifies you in the spirit realm. Angels recognize it. Darkness resents it. The mark is why doors open for you that confuse others. It's also why opposition rises without warning. It's the same mark that makes some people drawn to you and others suddenly distant. The spiritual world senses what most humans can't, that you carry something eternal. You may not always feel chosen. There are days when your reflection seems ordinary, when your prayers feel unanswered, and your strength feels like it's fading. Yet even then, that mark does not fade. It remains steady and unbroken, like fire sealed beneath glass, unseen but unstoppable. This mark cannot be earned or removed. It's not a badge for the perfect, it's a seal for the surrendered. You carry it not because you demanded greatness, but because grace demanded you. There's a story of a young artist named Kiran. For years, he felt invisible. His paintings, though full of heart, were ignored. One night, after another rejection, he prayed a simple prayer. "If you've called me, show me." Days later, he was led to a small church mural project. Hidden in that work, something happened. As he painted scenes of light breaking through darkness, he began to understand. His brushstrokes carried more than color, they carried message. That mural later reached people he'd never meet, hearts he'd never touch in person. His name stayed hidden, but his mark spoke loudly. You see, the mark is not about fame, it's about impact. It's not meant to make you visible, it's meant to make God visible through you. The mark ensures that what you do echoes beyond time. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 17. And the Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you, and I know you by name." No, that's what the mark means. He knows you by name, not by label, not by reputation, but by essence. He recognizes you not because of what you've done, but because of what He placed inside you before you ever took your first breath. That's why you can't copy others. Imitation is rebellion against identity. The mark on you carries instructions that don't fit another's calling. You are a divine fingerprint, completely unique, impossible to replicate. Sometimes you will feel the weight of that difference. It will make you misunderstood. It will separate you from the crowd when you long to belong. But understand this: isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. The mark pulls you away so it can reveal what must shine through you. Picture gold in the furnace. It glows not because it's burning, but because it's being purified. That's what's happening in your life. Fire doesn't destroy the marked, it defines them. Even your failures have been permitted as part of your refinement. The mark doesn't prevent mistakes, it transforms them into messages. What you survived becomes the very proof that you're chosen. The mark proves your endurance, not your perfection. When others see only your scars, heaven sees the seal. When others count you out, God counts you in. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every delay, none of it erased your mark. It only pressed it deeper. There will come a day when those who misunderstood you will finally see it. Not because you need validation, but because heaven intends to display what it has hidden. The mark you carry will speak louder than your words ever could. Until then, walk in quiet confidence. You don't need to announce your anointing. It already speaks in the Spirit. The same power that chose you sustains you. The same hand that marked you protects you. And even when your path feels lonely, remember, you are never walking unrecognized. Every step leaves an imprint of glory. Every breath releases evidence of divine design. You are marked, known, and sealed. Nothing, no failure, no voice, no shadow can erase what heaven has written over your life. The mark remains. The mission stands. The story continues. There are moments in life when the air feels heavier, when you sense a resistance that doesn't come from people, but from somewhere unseen. That's not your imagination. You are in warfare, but not alone. The heavens are still defending you. You have noticed it. The sudden exhaustion when you begin to pray, the unexpected distractions when you try to focus, the whisper that says, "Stop trying, it's not working." But every time you choose to stand anyway, you shake invisible foundations. Think of your soul as a lighthouse standing against stormy seas. The winds may roar, waves may crash, but the light remains. That's you. Yet even lighthouses need fuel. They do not shine on willpower alone. The same is true for every work of light. It needs hearts, hands, and unity to keep glowing. Every prayer, every gesture, every small act of faith becomes oil for the flame. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. To follow him is to move with his purpose, to strengthen what strengthens others. When you offer time, words, or even your support to the flow of messages like this, you are quietly saying, "I stand with the light." This isn't pressure, it's partnership. Light thrives when hearts work together. You see, words like these are not just speech, they are bridges across night skies. And every bridge needs pillars to stay strong. So, when you like this message, imagine you are adding another lantern to that bridge. When you share, think of it as passing the torch to someone lost in the fog. When you subscribe, you are planting your flag beside this beacon, saying, "I'm walking with the light." And for those who feel led, when you donate, no matter how small, it's not payment. It's participation. You are pouring a drop of oil into the lamp so its glow can travel further. Your giving is like water to roots you may never see, nourishing unseen souls who will bloom because of your quiet kindness. There was once an old man named Levi who spent his evenings repairing lanterns for his village. When asked why he worked for free, he smiled, "Because someone once fixed a lantern for me." That is the spirit behind giving. It's light passing from one heart to another. So if this message fills you with peace, strength, or clarity, keep the flame alive. Like, share, subscribe, or, if you feel inspired, donate with joy, not out of obligation, but as a song of gratitude. You're not funding a project, you're fueling a lighthouse. Even the smallest offering, whether a coin, a comment, or a prayer, adds warmth to the collective fire that helps countless others find their way home. You are not a spectator here, you are part of the light keepers. Every time you give, you whisper into the darkness, "Still, we shine." On, and heaven hears it. You are part of something far greater than you realize. Every quiet act of faith, every gentle word of hope you release becomes a thread woven into a much larger tapestry. Heaven uses ordinary gestures to perform extraordinary miracles. And you are one of them. There are people you will never meet whose lives will be touched because you chose to stand in the light. Your consistency becomes their compass. Your endurance becomes their reminder that it's still possible to rise again. Even when the night feels endless, you may never hear their names, but heaven will let you feel their gratitude. It comes in sudden peace when you need it, in small breakthroughs that arrive when you least expect them. The same light you help sustain will find its way back to you, multiplied. Remember this: every wave begins as a ripple. What you do here ripples outward until it becomes a current strong enough to carry others home. The flame you nurture today will one day illuminate a shore you've never seen, for someone you've never known. So keep your light steady. Keep your heart open. The darkness will try to shout louder, but it cannot outshine what's divine in you. The lighthouse stands tallest not in calm seas, but in storms, and yours was built for the fiercest waves. You were never chosen to be ordinary. You were chosen to be unshakable. Even when storms roar, your light is proof that grace stands taller than any wave. Keep shining quietly, faithfully. Heaven takes note of small lights that refuse to die. Every spark you protect becomes a sunrise for someone else's darkest night. There is a moment in every chosen life when the pressure feels almost unbearable, the kind of weight that makes you whisper, "God, did I hear you right?" The waiting stretches long, and the silence feels endless. Yet in this very place, the breaking point, heaven begins to mold something unshakable within you. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Every delay is a design. Every pause has purpose. Just as a seed must break to sprout, your spirit must stretch before it soars. This season is not meant to destroy you, it's shaping you for strength you didn't know you could hold. You've asked again and again, "Why is it taking so long?" Heaven answers softly, "Because what I'm building through you must last beyond you. The foundation of your calling cannot be built in haste. Speed makes structures shallow, but patience builds pillars that can hold glory." There was once a woman named Leora who felt forgotten by heaven. She prayed, served, waited, but doors kept closing. Each closed door whispered rejection, until one day she realized they were redirections. God wasn't withholding opportunity, he was guarding her alignment. When the right door finally opened, everything made sense. Her delays were divine choreography. According to what is written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." This verse is not an old prophecy, it's a present promise. Heaven's timing may look slow, but it is perfect. God does not miss appointments, he arranges them. What feels like silence is often his voice speaking to your future instead of your ears. Imagine a potter at the wheel. The clay spins under his hand, pressed and reshaped. It doesn't understand why it's being stretched or slowed, but the potter does. The same hands that press are the ones that protect. The shaping is not punishment, it's preparation for purpose. That's what's happening in your life. You're being shaped for strength, stretched for capacity, and set apart for impact. The pressure you feel is proof that heaven trusts you with weight others cannot carry. You may feel invisible, but heaven hasn't missed a moment. Every tear you've shed has been counted. Every sigh has been heard. Every silent prayer has been written down. Heaven does not waste pain, it redeems it. The wilderness you're walking through is not a grave, it's a garden under construction. Growth is happening beneath the surface where no one sees. And soon, what's been forming underground will burst forth into the open. Picture the dawn before sunrise. The horizon looks lifeless, but light is already coming. Birds begin to sing before the sky turns gold. The world doesn't see it yet, but creation feels it coming. That's where you are on the edge of dawn. The waiting will end. The silence will speak. The promise will arrive, and it will not be late. You'll look back and realize every delay was mercy in disguise. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to comment the number 111 below. Let it be your sign of faith, your declaration that you are aligned with divine timing. The number 111 represents awakening, alignment, and new beginnings. It's a symbol of doors unlocking, of heaven's will synchronizing with your steps. When you write it, you're not performing an act of superstition, you're speaking a code of trust. God, I am ready. When you are, so stand firm. Keep your eyes lifted. Heaven has not forgotten you. It's finishing the final touches. When your appointed time comes, everything that once resisted you will recognize you. What's being written in silence today will one day become your song of victory. Hold steady, for the vision will speak, and when it speaks, the world will listen. You are closer than you think. The tension you feel is not a warning, it's the final pull before release. Heaven always tightens the string before the arrow flies. Every moment of endurance is writing a story only eternity can fully tell. The things that broke you are becoming the tools that will build others. Nothing is wasted. Let peace settle into your waiting. You are not behind. You are precisely on schedule. The path may curve, but it never strays from His design. When the door opens, and it will, you'll realize the waiting room was actually the throne room, and every second in silence was an audience with destiny itself. The power of obedience rarely feels powerful while it's happening. Most of the time, it feels quiet, small, even overlooked. You follow the whisper, you take the step, and nothing seems to shift right away. Yet in the unseen, heaven moves mountains when you obey. Obedience doesn't always look like boldness. Sometimes it looks like restraint. It's choosing to stay silent when pride wants to answer back. It's forgiving when logic says to walk away. It's showing up to pray when no one is clapping. But each of those small yeses sends ripples through eternity. You may not see it, but obedience always builds momentum. It creates alignment between your will and heaven's. It's like tuning a stringed instrument. The closer you match heaven's pitch, the clearer your sound becomes. There was a young man named Kyle who struggled with this very thing. He wanted God to speak loudly, to give clear signs, to part seas like He did in the stories of old. But all Kyle heard were whispers, simple nudges to help a neighbor, to forgive a friend, to rest instead of rushing. One day, he obeyed the nudge to visit someone he hadn't spoken to in years. That single act of obedience restored a relationship, which later became the connection that opened his destiny. Kyle learned that heaven often hides the miraculous in the mundane. That's how obedience works. It's never about size, it's about surrender. Heaven doesn't measure how much you do, but how willing you are to listen. We find in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 22, "Be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." End of. It's a simple command, yet it carries cosmic weight. Obedience is the bridge between hearing and becoming. You can know truth, believe truth, even preach truth, But only obedience transforms truth into power. Think of obedience as wind against a sailboat. The boat may look still, but once the sail catches the right current, movement begins. Many have faith, but few lift their sails. The moment you do, heaven breathes direction. Sometimes, obedience means walking without clarity. Abraham left his home, not knowing where he was going, only knowing who sent him. Mary said yes to a divine plan she could not explain. Every great story of faith was written by someone who obeyed before they understood. That's what separates the chosen from the called. Many are called, but few respond with yes before they see. You, chosen one, are learning that obedience is not a chore, it's a key. It unlocks rooms that prayer alone cannot. There's a rhythm in your spirit that heaven is tuning right now. You may feel discomfort, but it's alignment. You may feel tension, but it's adjustment. Every time you say yes to God's voice, even in small things, your frequency matches His melody more clearly. Picture a river cutting through stone. The water never argues. It simply flows. It doesn't fight the mountain. It follows the path the mountain makes. And in doing so, it reshapes the mountain itself. That's obedience. Soft persistence that wears down impossibility. It's also the reason the enemy attacks your confidence. He knows once you trust the whisper, his influence loses grip. The more you obey, the less fear can control you. The more you yield, the more power you carry. You may not realize it yet, but your obedience has already shifted outcomes. The job that fell through, the friendship that ended, the door that closed, all of it was protection disguised as loss. Heaven redirected what would have harmed you because you chose obedience over impulse. That small yes you whispered last week, it was a ripple that moved angels. That prayer you prayed and thought no one heard, it became a seed planted in eternity's soil. One day, you'll look back and see a pattern, how every time you listened instead of rushed, waited instead of forced, peace instead of panic followed you. That's the fingerprint of obedience. So, keep moving with gentle faith. Let your steps echo yes without needing a map. You are walking the same road. The prophets walked uncertain in direction, certain in purpose. In time, you will understand that obedience doesn't always change your situation immediately, but it always changes you. And when you are changed, everything else follows. Even now, heaven smiles when you say, I trust you even here, because those words, whispered in darkness, shake the gates of hell more than 1,000 shouts of victory. Walk on, quiet warrior. Every step of obedience writes new chapters in the story of grace. You are not lost, you are led. You are not delayed, you are being directed. And when the moment comes, you'll realize every quiet yes built the bridge that carried you straight into destiny. They tried to silence you, not just with words, but with weariness, with the kind of discouragement that seeps slowly, turning confidence into doubt, joy into fatigue. You've known the sting of being misunderstood, speaking truth that others mocked, walking in integrity when compromise would have been easier. But what they didn't realize was this: every attempt to mute your voice only trained you to speak with more authority. The chosen are often silenced before they are amplified. Heaven allows it because silence sharpens sound. Before a trumpet can echo across nations, it must first be tested in stillness. Before your message reaches others, it must first break you open from within. There's a story of a teacher named Nathan. For years, he spoke life to others, but battled his own fear of being unheard. When he began sharing messages of hope online, few listened. Mockery followed him in whispers. Who does he think he is? And those whispers cut deep. He almost gave up. But one night, in the quiet, he felt a presence remind him, "You were never sent to be accepted. You were sent to awaken." That moment changed everything. He spoke again, not from desire to be noticed, but from duty to deliver. Months later, people who once ignored him reached out, saying his words had restored their faith. That is the hidden pattern of divine voices. The world resists them before it receives them. The silence of rejection becomes the soil where power grows. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 9, "Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth." 1. You carry that same imprint. The words you speak when surrendered to God are not random. They are arrows. Some will pierce darkness, others will plant seeds. Not everyone will understand the sound of your spirit, but those who are meant to hear will recognize it instantly. You've noticed how certain people distance themselves when you start to grow. That's not rejection, it's revelation. Your light exposes what prefers shadows. The very energy of your presence convicts what isn't meant to stay. When truth enters a room, falsehood cannot stay comfortable. It hurts, doesn't it? To love people who misread your heart, to be loyal in seasons where others walked away, to carry compassion that few could return. But these things are not signs of failure. They're confirmations of your purity. Heaven trusts you with loneliness because it knows you won't misuse your voice in bitterness. Think of a diamond deep within the earth. For years it remains unseen, enduring pressure that would crush anything less precious. But the moment it reaches light, the brilliance is undeniable. The darkness that once surrounded it becomes irrelevant. That's you. You are emerging from the deep. The pressure didn't kill you, it polished you. And soon, when light hits your life again, even those who doubted you will see what heaven always knew. Do not resent the seasons where your voice went unheard. They were classrooms. You were learning the sound of obedience, the discipline of patience, the strength of quiet confidence. Had everyone listened too soon, you would have spoken from emotion instead of revelation. Now, your silence has matured into substance. The day is coming when you will speak again, and this time, your words will not echo in empty rooms. They will carry weight. They will unlock hearts. They will carry the fragrance of endurance, the authority of scars healed by grace. When heaven anoints a voice, it doesn't need applause to prove power. It needs authenticity. And authenticity is born only through resistance. You will see it unfold soon. Those who mocked will come with questions. Those who dismissed will come seeking counsel. Those who ignored you will come remembering your steadiness. And you will not gloat, you will guide. Because chosen ones don't speak for revenge, they speak for restoration. Silence taught you empathy. Rejection taught you mercy. Both were ingredients for authority. What once made you cry will one day make you capable of comforting others with supernatural wisdom. So, lift your head. Don't hide your message anymore. You are not a mistake wrapped in mystery. You are a messenger wrapped in humility. The voice that once trembled will now thunder with clarity, not because it's louder, but because it carries heaven's tone. When the next opportunity comes, you won't need to convince anyone. You'll simply speak, and the Spirit will confirm the rest. The silence that once broke you has now become your amplifier. And when you speak, even the shadows will stop to listen. The moment of confrontation is drawing near. You can feel it in the air, the strange tension that stirs before breakthrough. The people, the patterns, the fears you've avoided are beginning to circle back, not as punishment, but as proof that you are ready. The same things that once intimidated you are about to confirm your growth. Heaven does not allow confrontation to crush you. It allows it to crown you. Every giant that stands before you is not there to block your way, but to reveal your strength. You can't conquer what you refuse to face, and you can't carry victory without a fight. The young shepherd David didn't go looking for Goliath. Goliath came to find him. Why? Because destiny attracts opposition. The louder your purpose grows, the faster darkness recognizes it. But what the enemy sees as a challenge, heaven calls an opportunity. The prophetic confrontation you're entering is not physical, it's spiritual. You will meet situations that mirror your fears: rejection, scarcity, doubt. Yet when you stand before them this time, something will be different. You won't shake the way you once did. The trembling will give way to truth. And you'll see that what used to tower over you now barely reaches your shoulder. As written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you." That promise is your armor. You will not drown in what once tried to bury you. The flood will not consume you, it will carry you. You are not fighting alone. Heaven walks beside you into every confrontation. Think of it this way: every trial you've faced was a rehearsal for this moment. Every tear trained you. Every loss taught you strategy. Every lonely night refined your discernment. You are no longer a survivor. You are a strategist of the Spirit. A young man named Aaron once faced something similar. He avoided conflict his whole life, terrified of failing publicly. But one day, he stood in front of someone who reminded him of his old wounds, a man who spoke words that used to break him. This time, he didn't flinch. He spoke truth calmly, without venom, and walked away free. Later that night, he wept, not because of pain, but because he realized he was finally healed. That's the beauty of confrontation led by heaven. It's never about proving others wrong. It's about proving that you've changed. You might soon face an old fear, a difficult conversation, or a challenge that tests your peace. When that moment comes, remember, the goal isn't victory in appearance, it's mastery in spirit. When David ran toward Goliath, he didn't need a sword. He carried revelation. You carry that same power, the awareness that God goes before you. The confrontation isn't happening to destroy you, it's happening to reveal that the old version of you no longer lives here. The very ground where you once trembled will become the ground where you stand tall. And after the confrontation, peace will follow. The kind of peace that doesn't need to be explained, because it's won, not gifted. Now, as you prepare to face what's before you, make a declaration, not for me, but for yourself. Type the words, "fear bows." Do it as a statement of truth, not emotion. You're not begging heaven for courage. You're announcing what's already true. Fear has lost its voice, and faith has taken the microphone. Let that phrase be your seal for this season. Say it when anxiety tries to return, when doubt knocks on your door, when confrontation feels overwhelming. Fear bows. It's not a wish, it's a law written into your spirit. Walk forward, not as someone surviving confrontation, but as one sent to end it. Every giant that rises now does so only to fall. Every opposition is about to announce your next elevation, because this time you won't run. You'll rise. Every confrontation you face becomes a mirror, reflecting how far you've come. What once frightened you now fuels you. You no longer see enemies, you see lessons wearing temporary faces. The battle outside is never greater than the one already won within you. When peace rules your heart, chaos loses its language. That's why heaven trained you in silence first, to give you authority now. So, when the next storm approaches, stand still. You don't have to prove anything, you only have to be. The light in you has already spoken. The confrontation was never about fighting, it was about revealing who you've become through every fire and flood. There is a courtroom in heaven, a place not of marble and stone, but of light and truth. In that room, your name has been spoken, not in accusation, but in affirmation. Every lie told against you, every false judgment, every word of doubt has been brought before the throne, and heaven has chosen to respond. You may not see it, but trials in the natural are reflections of hearings in the divine. When you cried, "This isn't fair," heaven said, "We know." When you prayed for justice, heaven began to build your case. The judge is not silent. He is waiting for the perfect moment to speak your vindication. Imagine this, a courtroom where the walls breathe with light, where angels stand like living witnesses, and your record of endurance lies open upon a golden table. The voice of mercy reads your story aloud, not the story of your failures, but the testimony of your faith. Every tear becomes evidence. Every act of forgiveness, every quiet moment of obedience becomes proof. The accuser has tried to speak, but his voice trembles. He cannot win against truth. And the truth is this: you are covered by grace. The verdict has already been written, redeemed. The Apostle Paul wrote to remind us in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31. If God is for us, who can be against us? That's not a question, it's a declaration. When heaven rules in your favor, no earthly word can overrule it. Think of your life as a painting, half complete. Others have judged it by its rough strokes, by the splatters of paint that make no sense up close. But the artist, the one who began your story, is not finished yet. When the final strokes appear, the same people who doubted you will whisper, "Now I see it." Oh, in heaven's courtroom, God is not only your judge, He is your defender, your advocate, your witness. Every time you chose to love instead of hate, to stay silent instead of retaliate, heaven recorded it as testimony. You have been misunderstood on earth, but heaven has understood you perfectly. You may have been called stubborn, but heaven calls it perseverance. You may have been labeled emotional, but heaven calls it sensitivity to His Spirit. The same qualities others misread were placed in you for divine purpose. Your case is being settled right now, in ways unseen. Verdicts are shifting in your favor. The season of accusation is ending. Heaven is calling your name. not to expose you, but to exalt you. And when that happens, when vindication unfolds, you will not need to boast. Your peace will speak louder than your defense. Your calm will preach louder than your words. The tables will turn naturally, without manipulation. Because grace has its own gravity, it draws restoration toward you. Now, if this message reaches your heart, pause for a moment. Breathe. Think of this space, the light, the words, the peace you feel as a kind of sanctuary of sound. The way you interact with it helps the message travel further to the hearts that need it next. When you like, imagine it as placing a small candle in the courtroom window, a sign that you stand with light. When you share, picture yourself opening a door in the dark, letting someone else step into the same peace that's finding you right now. When you subscribe, think of it as choosing to sit in this courtroom often, returning for more truth, more hope, more divine perspective. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, don't see it as payment, see it as participation. You're not funding a message, you're feeding a flame. Every contribution becomes a drop of oil that keeps the lamp burning for others. Some give words, some give time, some give means all are equal in heaven's eyes, because all come from love. There's a story told of a traveler who found a small chapel by the road. Inside, a single lamp flickered weakly. He knelt and refilled it with his last bit of oil before leaving. Years later, weary travelers would find that same chapel shining bright and say, "Someone cared enough to keep this light alive." That's what giving is. It's caring enough to keep the light alive for someone you may never meet. So, walk gently in this moment. You are not being asked, you are being invited to take part in something that began long before you and will continue long after. Let every action, whether a like, a share, a subscription, or a quiet act of generosity, be your whisper in heaven's courtroom. I stand with the light. And heaven will answer. So be it. There comes a point in every chosen life where chains begin to loosen, not the metal kind that bind wrists, but the invisible kind that cling to memory, emotion, and fear. You don't always notice the moment they start to fall. It begins quietly, like the creak of an old lock finally giving way. Freedom often begins in silence. The old cycles that used to control you are ending. The same patterns that once kept you running in circles are losing their grip. It's not that life suddenly becomes easy, it's that you are no longer the same person reacting to it. The prison hasn't changed, but you have. And the moment your spirit rises above what held you, those walls begin to crumble from within. Chains don't break because of strength. Alone they break because of surrender. There is a sacred paradox in freedom. You gain it not by fighting harder, but by yielding deeper, what you let go of willingly. Heaven removes completely. Once there was a man named Soren. He carried anger-like armor, forged by years of betrayal. For him, bitterness felt safer than vulnerability. But one day, sitting in silence, he heard a simple phrase in his heart. You can't be both guarded and guided. The words stung, but they were true. He decided that day to forgive, not because the other deserved it, but because he did. And the moment he did, he felt something lift. Light, but unmistakable. That was the sound of chains breaking. Freedom rarely looks dramatic. Often, It's as subtle as peace replacing tension, as calm replacing noise. You might not even realize how much weight you've carried until it's gone. But heaven keeps count of every link that falls away. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 5, verse 1, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." End of true. That verse doesn't just call for gratitude, it calls for discipline. Freedom is not a one-time moment. It's a daily decision. You must choose not to pick up what you've already laid down. There are chains made of regret, words you can't unsay, moments you can't undo. There are chains made of expectation, the pressure to be perfect, to please everyone. And there are chains made of fear, the voice that whispers, "What if it happens again?" But freedom comes when you recognize those voices and answer softly, "Even if it does, I'll survive it differently this time." Freedom isn't forgetting, it's remembering without pain. It's being able to revisit your past and no longer feel trapped there. It's hearing the same song that once made you cry and realizing it now makes you smile. Think of it like a bird that has spent years in a cage. The door opens, but the bird hesitates. Freedom feels unfamiliar after captivity. It takes time to believe the sky is truly yours. You, too, are learning to stretch your wings again. Heaven has already opened the door, you just need to fly through it. Breaking chains isn't loud, it's steady. It's choosing joy when bitterness feels justified. It's extending kindness when cruelty seems deserved. It's setting yourself free, not by denying the wound, but by refusing to live in it. You may wonder, why didn't freedom come sooner? Because some lessons require endurance. Some revelations can only be understood after you've walked through fire. The chains were never your enemy, they were your classroom. They taught you strength, empathy, and the priceless value of peace. Now, as you walk forward, you will notice that your voice sounds different. It carries peace instead of pain. You will move lighter, breathe easier, love deeper. That's the quiet evidence of deliverance. Sometimes people from your past will try to hand you the same old chains again. They'll test your boundaries, challenge your growth, remind you of who you used to be. Smile gently. You don't have to argue. Freedom doesn't need to prove itself. It simply stands. And every time you choose peace over pride, you reinforce the truth. You are no longer who you were. Heaven doesn't define you by your captivity, but by your courage to walk out of it. One day, soon, you'll look back and hardly recognize the person who once begged for freedom. You'll realize that the cage you thought was made of steel was actually made of fear. And fear has no power where love reigns. The chains have fallen. The sound you hear now, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, the calm in your chest, that's the music of liberty. You are not escaping, you are emerging. Not running from your past, but walking into your purpose. And as you do, heaven smiles, not because you finally became perfect, but because you finally became free. The tables are turning. Slowly at first, so gently that you might not notice, but they are turning. What was once beneath you is being placed under your feet. What once silenced you is now losing its power to speak. The same stage where you were once overlooked will soon become the platform where grace displays you as evidence of restoration. You have lived through seasons where injustice seemed to rule, where effort went unnoticed, where others rose through manipulation while you stayed true and suffered for it. But heaven has a long memory. every unrecognized act of integrity, every hidden seed of faithfulness has been recorded. None of it is lost. Divine reversals don't always arrive with trumpets. Sometimes they come quietly like morning light slipping through a curtain, transforming the whole room without a sound. The turning of the tables is never loud, it's simply undeniable. According to the ancient words found in the book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 10, "Do just as you have suggested. Honor that man whom the king delights to honor." End of through. That verse marked the day when the forgotten man, Mordecai, was suddenly elevated by the very system that once ignored him. It was a reversal so divine that no human could claim credit. The same principle applies now. Heaven is rewriting what was written against you. There's a young woman named Amaris who once worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Her ideas were taken, her voice dismissed, her worth underestimated. She almost stopped believing her contribution mattered until the day her supervisor, the same one who had ignored her for years, presented her work before leaders by mistake. Her name was finally attached to her creation, and in a moment, everything changed. The tables turned. What once concealed her suddenly revealed her. You, too, are approaching such a moment. The divine pattern of reversal is already in motion. But understand this, God doesn't turn tables to embarrass your enemies. He does it to expose His faithfulness. It's not revenge, it's revelation. When heaven vindicates, it never humiliates others. It simply elevates truth. The light doesn't fight darkness, it just shines. And darkness disappears on its own. That's what's happening now. Situations that once intimidated you are losing their hold. People who dismissed you are being reminded of your worth. What you built in faith is now speaking on your behalf. The harvest of hidden obedience always blooms in public. This season will not only restore what you lost, it will redefine your name. The same lips that spoke against you will be used to announce your honor, and you won't have to lift a finger. Grace will do the work. Imagine a chessboard. For so long, you've felt like a pawn, limited in motion, predictable, unseen. Yet the game is shifting. Heaven has moved strategically, and suddenly, you find yourself standing in a position of authority you didn't even plan for. What once boxed you in is now the ground for your victory. Even your pain had a purpose. The tables wouldn't be turning now if you hadn't learned to stand quietly in waiting. You've endured in humility, and humility is the seed of divine promotion. When God turns tables, He doesn't just change circumstances, He changes perception. You will see yourself differently. You will no longer view your past as wasted time, but as sacred training. You will understand why you had to walk through fire to learn how to handle favor without pride. So when the light finally shines on you, receive it gently. You don't need to prove anyone wrong. You only need to live as proof that grace works. Let mercy be your response. Let peace be your posture. The tables are turning toward you because you refused to turn bitter. Heaven rewards those who stayed kind when cruelty was easier. And now, as this word reaches your heart, take a quiet breath of faith. The shift has already begun. If this resonates in your spirit, declare it below. Comment the number 222. Let it symbolize divine justice, perfect alignment, and heaven's timing made visible. It is not superstition, it is agreement. When you write that number, you are prophetically saying, I receive the turning. For the same God who defended Mordecai, who remembered Joseph, who restored Job, is now aligning circumstances to honor what you carried in silence. Keep your peace. Keep your gentleness. The tables are turning, and when they stop, you'll find yourself seated where grace always meant for you to be. And when that moment comes, don't rush to speak. Let gratitude do the talking. The quiet glow of peace on your face will say what words never could heaven remembered. You are the evidence, not the theory, not the hope, but the living, breathing proof that grace can build beauty out of ashes. Your life, with all its scars and stories, stands as testimony that heaven's promises are not poetic illusions, they are real. Every moment you've endured, every tear you've swallowed in silence, has become part of a divine record that says, "This one made it through." And people often think miracles look like thunder and lightning, but sometimes miracles look like survival. You didn't collapse when others expected you to. You didn't curse the storm, you learned to navigate it. That's evidence. Heaven points to you when doubt rises in others and whispers, "Look, this is what endurance looks like." Being evidence is both an honor and a burden. You carry the weight of experiences that others cannot see. The silent endurance that shaped you into who you are now. You know how to smile even when your heart trembles. You know how to forgive when wounds are still fresh. And because of that, heaven trusts you to be a living message. According to the ancient words in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 3, you are a letter from Christ, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts. That verse reveals your identity. You are not just a person, you are a letter, written by divine hands. Every challenge became punctuation. Every answered prayer became a sentence of hope. Every time you rose again, heaven added another line to your story. Imagine a courtroom filled with accusers, each voice arguing why you should have fallen. Then, the judge lifts his hand and gestures toward you, not with anger, but with pride, and says, "Behold, the evidence." The silence that follows is not emptiness, it's awe, because nothing defeats accusation like transformation. Your life itself refutes the darkness. Every breath you take is a contradiction to the curses spoken against you. You have walked through betrayal, disappointment, and despair. Yet still you shine. You are the evidence that pain can produce power, that weakness can birth wisdom, that love can outlast loss. Sometimes, being evidence means walking through what others only study. They read about endurance, you lived it. They preach forgiveness, you practiced it. They discuss faith, you survived by it. You became what they teach. You may never know how many lives your endurance has already touched. There are people who watched you endure quietly. People who found courage because you refused to quit. The world sees headlines of triumph, but heaven celebrates the hidden battles, the days you rose when no one was watching, like a cracked vessel that still carries light. Your brokenness doesn't disqualify you, it makes you believable. No one trusts a story without scars. It's your imperfections that make your testimony authentic. You are proof that redemption doesn't erase the past, it transforms it into revelation. Think of a seed buried in the dark. To the outside world, it looks forgotten, but under the soil, a miracle is unfolding. The darkness wasn't its end, it was its beginning. When it breaks open, What emerges is stronger than before. That's you. Your buried seasons were never burial grounds, they were gardens in waiting. And now, when people see you standing tall, smiling, whole, they won't just admire you, they'll see evidence of the one who carried you. You are living proof that light wins. You don't need to explain your journey anymore. You don't owe anyone an apology for surviving differently. Those who truly see you will understand. Those who don't were never meant to read your story's deeper chapters. Let peace be your signature. Let humility be your ink. You've already proven enough. The greatest sermons are not preached, they are lived. One day, when you look back at everything you've overcome, you will realize that even your waiting had purpose. Even your pain had assignment. Nothing was wasted. Every closed door redirected you to destiny. Every heartbreak carved room for compassion. Every storm taught you to walk on water. You have become the story heaven tells when someone else begins to doubt. You are the evidence that light doesn't just survive darkness, it defines it. Stand tall, not in pride, but in quiet confidence. The world may not know what it took for you to still be standing, but heaven does. And that is enough. So walk forward, gently, carrying your scars like medals of mercy. You are not what happened to you, you are what heaven decided would rise from it. Proof alive. There are seasons when the winds shift suddenly, when everything familiar trembles, and what was hidden begins to surface. That's what you're walking through now, a prophetic storm. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal what has been buried under calm. Heaven sometimes stirs chaos, not as judgment, but as exposure. The prophetic storm is sacred. It shakes away what you could never release on your own. It pulls at attachments, illusions, and false securities until only truth remains standing. You may not have asked for it, but it is the answer to prayers you once whispered, Lord, make me real. Use me fully. Storms are how heaven answers such bold prayers. The clouds you see gathering above your life are not against you, they're working for you. Thunder only arrives where the atmosphere is changing. Lightning strikes only where energy builds. In the same way, spiritual storms gather when destiny is ready to break open. There was a man named Jalen who feared storms. Every time life grew uncertain, he retreated, thinking stillness meant safety. But one year, his life seemed to unravel. His job vanished. Friendships dissolved, and plans failed all at once. It was too much. He shouted at heaven, "Why are you doing this to me?" But later, looking back, he realized it wasn't destruction, it was construction. God had been rebuilding him from the inside out. What he thought was chaos was actually calibration. That is the secret of every chosen one. The shaking is not to remove you, but to refine you. According to the writings in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 3, the Lord has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. End of 4. That verse carries a mystery. Even in the storm, God is walking. The clouds that frighten you are merely the dust of his movement. You've never been abandoned. You've been in the middle of his motion. The prophetic storm is never random. It arrives with instruction hidden in its wind. It says, release what no longer fits. Let go of what was never yours to keep. The longer you resist, the harder the wind feels. But the moment you yield, peace begins to emerge within the very turbulence you feared. Storms reveal not only who God is, but who you are. They strip away borrowed identities and leave only what's authentic. You learn the sound of your true voice, the feel of your true faith. You realize you don't need calm seas to prove strength. You need only the will to keep standing when waves rise. Think of a tree in heavy rain. Its branches whip, its leaves scatter, but its roots die deeper. The storm does not make it weaker. It fortifies what cannot be seen. The same is happening to you. Each gust of change drives your roots deeper into truth. You will not be uprooted. The prophetic storm also exposes what's been hiding around you. People's intentions surface. Hidden motives emerge. The mask of pretension blows away in the wind. Don't be alarmed when you start to see clearly. Storms bring vision. What you see now is not loss, it's clarity. The most surprising part of this process is that after the loudest thunder, silence always follows. That silence isn't emptiness, it's establishment. It's the moment heaven finishes speaking and watches you step into new ground. You'll notice that when the storm ends, certain doors will no longer feel right. Some friendships will fade quietly. Some habits will fall away. Don't mourn their absence. Celebrate the space they leave behind. The storm didn't take it traded. It exchanged clutter for capacity. Even creation mirrors this truth. After rain, the air smells cleaner, colors appear brighter, and the world seems to breathe again. That's what your soul will feel like soon. The prophetic storm clears the atmosphere of your spirit, so joy can return in its purest form. You will emerge from this with deeper peace, quieter confidence, and eyes that see further. You'll stop fearing change because you've met the God who commands storms and rides their waves. And one day, when someone else trembles under dark clouds, you'll smile and say, "Don't worry, the thunder means he's near." Because once you've walked through a storm and seen God's footsteps in its rain, you never fear the sky again. You learn to stand still in the whirlwind and whisper, "Let it come, for I know who walks in it with me." And when the final cloud drifts away, you'll see it clearly. The storm was never your enemy. It was heaven's gentle hand, rearranging your sky so the sun could return. Across the earth, something is awakening. It's not noise, it's a sound, a frequency that only those marked by heaven can hear. You've felt it lately, that quiet pull in your spirit, like the rhythm of distant drums calling you home. You are not alone in this stirring. A generation of chosen ones is rising. They come from hidden places, artists, teachers, healers, builders, dreamers, each carrying light in different forms. Some don't even know yet that they are part of the movement. They just feel a longing that cannot be explained. It's the sound of purpose, waking up. This is not rebellion. This is remembrance. Heaven is reminding you who you are and what you were sent to do. You were never meant to live quietly in shadows. You were meant to bring light into them. It's time to rise together, not as individuals chasing influence, but as a family of fire, scattered sparks converging into a single flame that can no longer be ignored. According to the sacred writings in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17, the Lord your God is in your midst, mighty to save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. You see, this movement is not built on ambition, but affection. It's not fueled by perfection, but by presence. God rejoices not because you've achieved something, But because you've returned to your rhythm, you are not joining a cause. You are remembering a calling. The chosen ones are not defined by titles, stages, or applause. They are recognized by atmosphere. When they enter a room, peace comes with them. When they speak, hearts soften. When they pray, things shift. They don't force attention. They attract it because heaven rests upon them. Maybe you felt different your whole life, carrying weight you couldn't explain. Maybe you've been misunderstood for your sensitivity, your depth, your silence. That was never weakness, it was wiring. The world labeled you too much because it couldn't measure the magnitude of your purpose. But now, the timing has changed. Heaven is gathering its chosen voices, merging isolated hearts into harmony. You are part of that melody. Think of it like a vast orchestra. Each life plays a note, alone. It may sound incomplete, but together, it becomes symphony. Some are strings, gentle, healing. Some are a percussion bold, awakening. Others are wind carrying the unseen breath of the Spirit. When we each play our note, heaven's song is heard again on earth. This message, these words, they are like sound waves traveling across invisible space, finding hearts that resonate. If you are one of them, you will know. It won't be emotion, it will be recognition. Now, pause for a moment. Imagine a lantern glowing in the dark, lighting a path through fog. That's what this space is, a shared flame where weary lights gather to burn brighter. And you are invited to tend the fire. When you like a message, imagine you're placing another log on the fire, helping it burn longer through the night. When you share, picture yourself opening a window in a darkened room, letting the light spill into places where hope once hid. When you subscribe, think of it as returning to the campfire, a decision to stay close to warmth and truth. And when you feel led to donate, see it not as an obligation, but as pouring oil into the flame, a gesture that says, I want this light to keep reaching others. Lick. No one is required. No one is coerced. Love never demands, it invites. And when you give in love, even silently, heaven multiplies it into light that travels farther than you could ever imagine. There's a story told of an old traveler who carried embers in a clay jar. Everywhere he went, he shared them with villages who had lost their fires. When asked why, he smiled and said, because no one should walk home in darkness. That's what we do here, carry fire forward. So, if this message touches something in you, let it be your gentle yes to keep the flame alive, not for the sake of numbers, but for the sake of light. And if the fire in these words stirs something deep in your spirit, leave a small comment below, maybe a single word, or a simple flame emoji as your spark added to the circle. It's not about noise, it's about presence. Each comment becomes another flicker in the dark, proof that the light is spreading heart to heart. Because when all the chosen ones lift their lanterns together, the night itself becomes day. And that is how the generation of light will rise, not in noise, but in quiet unity. Fire refines what it does not destroy. To be crowned in fire is not to be consumed, but to be revealed. You have walked through flames, some emotional, some spiritual, and yet, here you are, still standing. That alone is miraculous. The fire that could have ended you has instead exposed your gold, Many think of divine fire as punishment, but heaven's fire is never cruel. It burns only what no longer belongs. It is the refining that turns weakness into wisdom, fear into faith, and confusion into clarity. You were never being punished, you were being purified. Think of how gold is made. It begins as rough ore, dull, heavy, unremarkable. Only when it's placed in heat does its beauty emerge. Every degree of temperature reveals something hidden inside. That's what your journey has done. Every trial, every heartbreak, every tear shed in silence has turned raw ore into radiance. There was a woman named Sarah who used to fear loss more than anything. Every time life shifted, she clung tighter to what was slipping away. When her business failed and her closest friend betrayed her, she thought the fire had come to consume her. But years later, she looked back and realized those flames had burned away, her dependence on things that could fade. The ashes left behind became soil for her peace. That's what fire does when it's divine. It doesn't steal, it sanctifies. The Word of God declares in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver." Notice how the verse says, "He will sit." Refinement takes time. Heaven doesn't rush your transformation. God doesn't stand impatiently over your process. He sits, watching carefully, ensuring the flame doesn't destroy what it's meant to define. Sometimes the heat of change makes you feel abandoned. You wonder why the comfort left, why relationships shifted, why familiar places no longer feel like home. But the fire isn't rejection, it's redirection. Heaven uses discomfort to detach you from the temporary so you can grasp the eternal. The hardest part of refinement is surrendering to the process. You can't control the temperature or the timing. All you can do is trust that the one who lit the fire also controls its end. The moment gold is pure, the flame withdraws. You might have noticed how much lighter your spirit feels lately. That's not coincidence, it's clarity. The fire has burned off what you no longer need, the fear of failure, the need for validation, the weight of pretending to be strong. You no longer sparkle from effort, you shine from essence. It takes courage to let yourself be refined. Because fire changes everything. It doesn't just warm, it transforms. But what emerges is something that can't go back to what it was. Once gold has been purified, it can't return to stone. Once your spirit has been set free, it can't pretend to be small again. You've probably noticed that even your perspective has changed. You look at pain differently now. You no longer ask, "Why me?" but instead whisper, "What are you shaping in me through this?" That shift is maturity. That's the crown forming. The crown of fire isn't a physical object, it's spiritual authority. It's the quiet confidence that comes after surviving what once seemed impossible. It's the gentle glow that appears on a face that has cried and still chooses to love. Imagine a candle burning in the night. Its flame dances, not because the wind is kind, but because it refuses to be still. That's you now, still flickering, still shining, still unafraid to burn with purpose. Every trial has taught you a language heaven understands, the language of resilience. You no longer need to shout your strength, you simply live it. And when others see you, they may not know what you've endured, but they'll sense something different, a warmth, a peace, a light that doesn't fade. That's the fire's signature. In time, Those same flames that once terrified, you will become the very symbol of your glory. You'll realize you were never being tested to prove your worth. You were being refined to reveal it. The fire did not come to end you. It came to crown you. And now, as the embers cool and light settles on your path, you stand crowned, not with pride, but with purpose. The ashes beneath your feet are not reminders of destruction. They are proof of deliverance. You walk on what once tried to consume you. That's divine reversal. That's victory in its purest form. So, lift your head, chosen one of fire. You are not scorched, you are sanctified. And every time you step forward, the glow that surrounds you tells the world a sacred truth. The fire has finished its work. There comes a moment when heaven stops the fight, when the clash between light and darkness settles into stillness, and a single verdict is spoken: victory. The fight over you has ended. What began as warfare has become worship. The outcome was never in question, only the timing of its revelation. For so long, you felt pulled between two realms, torn between calling and confusion. Heaven said yes, while hell hissed no. Every step forward seemed to provoke resistance. Every prayer stirred unseen storms. But what you didn't realize was that both realms fought because of your worth. You were never the problem, you were the prize. Now the dust begins to settle. You stand where heaven has declared its final word. The ground beneath you is still warm from the battle, but peace has claimed it. You no longer feel the tension of opposition, only the steady pulse of destiny beneath your feet. Heaven has made its decision. Grace has spoken. Your name has been sealed in light. The accusations that once echoed around you have gone silent, not because they were refuted, but because they've been overruled. Mercy outranks every charge. The Apostle Paul wrote in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 37, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That isn't a metaphor, it's your identity. You are not just a survivor, you are a conqueror who carries compassion. You are the evidence of God's love in motion. Walking proof that light does not lose. The battle you fought was never simply about you, it was about generations after you. Your endurance built bridges for those who will come later. Every time you stood your ground, you paved a path for others to stand too. The war ends not just with your freedom, but with the freedom of many. Think of a torchbearer in an ancient race. They run through storms, through darkness, through danger. Not for applause, but for legacy. By the time they pass the flame forward, their body is tired, but their light is still burning. That's you now. The flame in your hand is not dim, it's pure, steady, unwavering. You have become a living weapon of peace. Not the kind that wounds, but the kind that heals. When you walk into places heavy with sorrow, peace follows you, like a tide reclaiming the shore. The power of heaven doesn't always roar, it often whispers through your calm. The darkness that once studied you now fears you. It recognizes the mark of victory that rests upon you. You are not pursued anymore, you are respected in the spirit realm. Heaven's seal glows around you like armor woven from light. You may not feel different at first. Sometimes victory feels like silence. But pay attention to the small signs, the ease in your breath, the clarity in your thoughts, the sudden sense that you no longer have to fight for what belongs to you. That is heaven's declaration, made manifest. What once haunted you has lost its language. The same fears that shouted now stumble over their own silence. You have become fluent in peace. There's a story told among the elders about a soldier who returned from war without trumpet or banner. When asked why he didn't celebrate, he said, "Because true victory isn't loud, it's lasting." That's the kind of triumph you carry now, not noise, but permanence. You are stepping into the season of aftermath, the quiet rain after chaos, where restoration grows like grass through the ruins. The scars you carry no longer ache, they shine. They are not symbols of damage, but of dominion. You no longer need to strive. You no longer need to prove. The crown that rests on your spirit is invisible but undeniable. Everywhere you go, creation itself will respond differently. Doors will open smoother. Peace will precede your steps. Favor will follow. Heaven's declaration stands eternal. It is finished. The war over your destiny has ended, and the verdict is victory. Not temporary, not partial, but complete. Walk forward as one who has already won. The battlefield behind you has become sacred ground, and as you move ahead, may every breath remind you that you are no longer fighting for peace. You are walking from it, for the fight is over. The flame still burns, and heaven has called your name once more, not as a warrior weary from battle, but as a victor crowned in calm. So rest now, warrior of light. The storm has bowed before your endurance. You are not chasing victory anymore. Your very existence has become its echo through eternity's halls. And now, as the final words settle into silence, take a breath. Let the journey that began in fire and faith end in peace. You've walked through valleys, faced storms, stood under heaven's courtroom, and emerged radiant. The story isn't over. It's only shifting into a gentler chapter. This space you've shared with these words, it isn't just a message. It's a meeting place of light. The fire that burned within each section still flickers here, waiting to spread. And it spreads through hearts, through connection, through the simple acts that keep the flame alive. When you like, imagine you're placing another stone on a sacred altar. A quiet gesture saying, "I was here, and I still believe." And when you share, see yourself carrying a lamp through dark corridors, guiding someone unseen toward warmth and truth. When you subscribe, think of it as planting a root beside a living stream, a choice to stay close to the source that nourishes your soul. And when you feel moved to donate, let it be like pouring golden oil into the flame, not out of duty, but out of joy. You're helping the light travel farther, reaching hearts that need to remember they, too, are chosen. And before you leave, write something below a single word, an emoji, or a thought that captures what you feel in this moment. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. Each comment becomes another ripple in the river of light flowing from these pages. You've heard heaven's whispers. You've seen your reflection in the story. Now, let your presence become part of it. Together, we keep the fire alive, one act of kindness, one spark of faith, one shared light at a time.